The Moai statues of Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, are among the most recognizable archaeological icons in the world. These monumental figures, created by the island's ancient Polynesian inhabitants, hold deep cultural and spiritual significance. Located more than 3,500 kilometers from the Chilean coast in the southeastern Pacific, Easter Island is one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth. Its isolation, combined with the mysteries surrounding the Moai and the island's history, has fascinated explorers, archaeologists, and historians for centuries. Rapa Nui was first settled by Polynesians between 300 and 1200 AD, though the exact date remains debated. Over time, these settlers developed a unique culture, distinct from other Polynesian societies, with the Moai as its central symbol. The statues were primarily created between 1400 and 1650 AD, during a period when the island's population and cultural activity were flourishing. The Moai are massive statues carved from volcanic tuff, a soft stone that allowed for intricate carving, but was also fragile. The largest erected Moai, known as Paro, stands 10 meters tall and weighs around 75 tons. Some unfinished statues at the quarry are even larger, indicating the Rapa Nui people may have intended to build even more monumental sculptures. In total, nearly 1,000 Moai have been identified, scattered across the island. These statues were carved at Rano Raraku, a volcanic crater that served as the main quarry. Once the statues were completed, they were transported to ceremonial platforms called ahu, which were built along the island's coasts. The transportation and erection of the statues were enormous feats, considering the lack of advanced technology. Theories about how the Rapa Nui people moved these giant figures vary, but the most widely accepted idea is that the statues were walked upright by using ropes to rock them forward. This method has been demonstrated in modern experiments and fits with the narrow bases of the Moai. Each Moai likely represented a deified ancestor or important leader. The statues, with their oversized heads and watchful gazes, faced inland toward the villages, symbolizing their protective role over the living. The Rapa Nui people believed that these ancestors possessed spiritual power, or mana, that could ensure the well-being of the community. This deep connection to ancestry and spirituality is reflected in the intricate carvings on the statues, which often include facial features and body designs thought to represent tattoos. The Moai were not just art. They were central to the social, religious, and political life of Rapa Nui society. The construction of these statues was likely tied to clan rivalries, with different groups building larger and more numerous Moai to display power and prestige. The ahu platforms where the Moai stood were also burial sites and ceremonial spaces, reinforcing the connection between the living and the dead. In many cases, the statues were adorned with pukao, large cylindrical hats made of red scoria, another type of volcanic stone. The addition of these red hats, which could weigh several tons, further emphasized the grandeur of the statues. The red color may have held particular significance, symbolizing sacredness or power in Polynesian cultures. Additionally, some statues had inlaid coral eyes, which may have been used in specific rituals, heightening the spiritual potency of the Moai. By the time European explorers first arrived on Easter Island in 1722, the Rapa Nui society had experienced a significant decline. The once thriving population had decreased, and most of the Moai had been toppled. The reasons behind this societal collapse are still debated, but environmental degradation is often cited as a primary factor. The island's dense palm forests were gradually cut down, possibly to provide timber for transporting the statues. This deforestation led to soil erosion, reduced agricultural yields, and a loss of resources necessary for sustaining a large population. As the environment deteriorated, conflicts may have arisen between the island's clans over the remaining resources. Some historians believe that the Moai were deliberately toppled during these internal wars, as rival clans sought to undermine each other's spiritual power. Oral histories from the island support this theory, recounting a time of civil strife and competition among the clans. European contact further exacerbated the island's troubles. Diseases introduced by explorers, combined with slave raids by Peruvian traders in the 19th century, devastated the island's population. At its lowest point, only around 100 Rapa Nui people remained, and much of the island's cultural knowledge, including the skills needed to carve and erect the moai, was lost. In the 19th and 20th centuries, explorers, archaeologists, and historians renewed interest in Easter Island. One of the most influential figures in this rediscovery was Norwegian explorer Thor Heyerdahl, who visited the island in the 1950s. Heyerdahl's work helped bring international attention to the Moai and Easter Island's cultural history, though many of his theories, such as the idea that the island was settled by South Americans rather than Polynesians, have since been debunked. Modern archaeological efforts have focused on restoring and preserving the Moai. Many of the statues have been re-erected on their original ahu, and restoration projects continue to this day. Easter Island was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995, recognizing its cultural and historical significance. Today, the Moai remain a source of immense cultural pride for the people of Rapa Nui. Despite centuries of hardship, the Rapa Nui community has maintained its identity and connection to the statues. Local efforts to preserve the Moai are now central to the island's heritage conservation, with the Rapa Nui people playing a leading role in managing the island's archaeological sites. Tourism has become the island's primary economic driver, with thousands of visitors coming each year to see the Moai. However, this influx of tourists presents challenges, as the island's delicate environment and the statues themselves are vulnerable to damage. Erosion, earthquakes, and climate change pose ongoing threats to the preservation of the Moai. Conservationists are working to balance the needs of the local economy with the imperative to protect the island's cultural treasures. While much has been learned about the Moai, many questions remain unanswered. For example, the abrupt cessation of Moai construction is still a mystery. Some archaeologists believe that environmental decline and the resulting societal collapse halted production, while others argue that changes in religious or political systems may have been responsible. Recent research has also uncovered new insights into the Moai's practical functions. Excavations around the statues have revealed that many were erected near sources of fresh water, suggesting that their placement may have been linked to resource management. This discovery points to a more complex relationship between the statues and the island's ecosystem than previously understood. The Moai statues of Easter Island are a testament to the creativity, resilience, and spiritual depth of the Rapa Nui people. Despite their society's decline and the challenges posed by isolation and environmental change, the Moai remain powerful symbols of ancestral honor and cultural continuity. Today, they stand not only as monumental works of art, but also as reminders of the importance of heritage preservation in a rapidly changing world. The ongoing efforts to protect and understand these statues ensure that the legacy of the Rapa Nui people will endure for generations to come. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you soon.